Trump administration.
All right, let's bring in our panel real quick for reaction break. Rutherford, pardon me, is Democratic strategist. Hadley Heath Manning is Independent Women's Voice senior policy analyst. They join us now. Hadley, let me ask you, what's your reaction there? He went off prompter a little bit. People maybe getting a little nervous. Hillary Clinton getting excited, perhaps, and then he went back. Your thoughts?
Well, we've made the mistake of underestimating Donald Trump and the movement behind him before. That's what Republicans did in the primary, and Democrats would be unwise to do that now in the general election. He's got a lot of enthusiasm behind him. Obviously, this is an untraditional election year with untraditional candidates and a news cycle that swings back and forth, putting enthusiasm on either side any day of the week. So this is Donald Trump doing what he should be doing now, focusing on the issues like Obamacare, like jobs and the economy, and trying to drive that message home.
Yeah, Blake, he didn't get distracted. You know, sent his fire Hillary Clinton's way, talked about Obamacare, talked about trade, all those things. It's no mistake he's in Ohio, right? That's a must-win.
That's right. There's absolutely no mistake that Trump is in Ohio today, but I think it evidences the problem Trump has. He hasn't been able to bank Ohio yet. He's having to spend time, money, and resources there, and the electoral map just doesn't look good for him elsewhere. He has to win Ohio. He has to win Florida, and yet he's having to still spend time in Ohio. Hillary Clinton is checking states off the map all over the country, states where she's doing very well in early voting. And look out for Ohio, because you're starting to see early vote numbers come in Franklin and Cuyahoga counties where she's doing very, very well.
Okay.
Trump's not a foregone conclusion in Ohio, which is why he's there.
Hadley, I mean, I would counter that by saying if you look at what the Clinton camp is doing, they're sending all their firepower to Pennsylvania on the night before the election. I mean, that's a place that was supposed to be wrapped up for them as well. That indicates they're very worried about that state.
That's right. Travel schedules are very telling. But when it comes to the Electoral College system, I mean, Hillary Clinton had an advantage sort of baked into this system even before Donald Trump started campaigning as the nominee, because that's the way the Electoral College system works. It works to the advantage of Democrats. They have advantages in populated states that hold a lot of those Electoral College votes. So I would recommend that GOP candidates for the White House or any other office just stick to that message that should have very broad appeal about a growing free market economy, a strong civil society, and a robust national defense. And that's a winning message.
Yeah. Blake, how do you counter that in places like, I mean, Michigan, which has been since the 80s, has been a place where only Democrats have prevailed. Now you see Trump breaking through a bit there thanks to this message about sort of the forgotten man, the working man who has been left behind by those who are on the inside who gain access and political power, and also as they work, those who get free handouts.
I think what you have to be mindful of in Michigan is first of all, Donald Trump hasn't led in a poll in Michigan in a very long time. As much as his campaign wants to say that Michigan's in play, there's nothing in the data that suggests that that's right. And I want to comment a little bit about Pennsylvania, because the one thing we always have to talk about is turnout and the ground game, and that's simply something Donald Trump doesn't have. He doesn't have it in Michigan. He doesn't have it in Ohio. He doesn't have it in Florida, and he doesn't have it in Pennsylvania. Hillary Clinton is spread wide. Her campaign is organized wide.
Yep.
She has lots of surrogates out there who want to come in to key states and do well. I think that's why you're seeing the president in Philadelphia. But this is really about turnout now.
Absolutely. Those are all good points. She does have the machine behind her without question. Thanks to both of you. We appreciate your time.